Look, there's a lot of myths around about what actual storytelling actually is in a business setting. Let me tell you 3 things that storytelling is not. First of all, storytelling is not just a fancy word for messaging. A message is not automatically a story, no matter how much emphasis you put on it. Your inbox is full of messages, but not many stories. The problem I see is people think that just by calling their message a story, it somehow becomes more impactful. It doesn't. If your message is simply a list of facts or your opinion about something, well, it's not particularly memorable or attention-grabbing or persuasive, because that's what stories do. We notice them, we remember them, we act on them. Just by calling your message a story doesn't make it a story. The second myth about business storytelling is that it needs to be epic. Right? That it needs to be some kind of Joseph Campbell-inspired 12-stage hero's journey. Who's got time for that? I mean, seriously, you might occasionally need a big story like that, but 99% of the time you're going to need little stories, and you don't need to be harking back. And I've seen plenty of storytelling trainers do this. You don't need to be harking back to your favourite moment in Star Wars all the time. And the third myth of storytelling is that you can get a story just by banging some prompts in to your preferred chatbot. Well, you can, and actually chatbots are pretty good at telling stories. So you could go on to a chatbot and say, give me a story that I could use as an accountant when I'm trying to win new customers. And guess what? It'll give you a story about a made-up customer. But that's the whole point. That's the problem. It's made up. So AI is incredibly good at telling stories, but crucially, they're not your story. It's a story, not your story. It's a generic story scraped off the internet and repackaged according to your prompt. But it's not your story. And there are massive problems with that. It's never been easier to generate text, thanks to AI. Therefore, the world is awash with slop. The world is awash with AI content. And so, yes, you can go to AI and get a story. It won't be your story. And it'll do you damage in the long term. Because A, people just don't like it, and B, well, what is it saying about you that you can't tell a real story about your business? You're resorting to fake stories. What does that say about you? So those, I think, are 3 really common myths around the world of business storytelling. That story is just another word for message. It's not. That stories have to be epic. They don't. And that stories can be produced by AI. Well, they can, but you shouldn't. What I'm going to offer you instead is a really simple, really easy to understand guide to what storytelling is in a business setting. First of all, it is simply the retelling of something that happened in order to make a point. Right, that's it. That little model of remembering something that happened, telling people about it in order to make a point about, so let's not make that mistake. That's the oldest form of communication we know. We're very good at it. But it has to be a retelling of something that happened. It has to be a little scenario, a little movie scene for it to work as a story. Otherwise, it's just facts and opinions. The second thing that good business storytelling does is it provides social proof. Now, that's not cast iron scientific proof. It's something quite different. Social proof is, what are other people doing in this situation? Oh, that's interesting. Look, over there, they're doing that. Oh, look over here, they're doing this. That's the kind of proof that we've evolved to take very seriously. Social proof can live in data, yes, but a lot of people struggle to process data. Social proof really, truly does live in stories, if you tell them right. And my third tip about good business storytelling is it's the fastest way to build trust with somebody who you don't know. Well, it's the second fastest way. The fastest way to build trust with somebody is to do something for them. Okay, the second best way to build trust is to tell them about a time when you did something for someone like them. Oh, so it's a mixture of social proof and character. I'm the kind of person who does this for people like you. What you'll realise if you take part in this course I'm going to tell you about in a second is, oh, you know what? I've kind of been doing storytelling all along. Okay, brilliant. You can just do it better. You can do it with a bit more confidence. Now, I'm very conscious that I started this video by saying, look, storytelling is not the same as messaging, and you can't just pump facts and opinions at people and call it a story. And then all I've done for the last 5 minutes is give you my opinion about what storytelling is. So let me give you a little story. For years now, I've been focusing on one particular type of storytelling, and I call it stories that sell. Because these are stories you use in the process of selling something, whether you're selling online or face-to-face, it doesn't matter. I've developed that into a full course, about 12 hours of lectures. You can see more details in the link. So let me tell you a story about one customer, a guy called Nicolo. Now, Nicolo is a coach, and he helps parents to be a bit less stressed and a bit more kind of effective in their parenting. And Nicolo said, as a result of focusing on that story, what's the story on the landing page of his website? He said, I can't believe how much better my website got in just one day. All he'd got on his website before that were kind of facts and opinions, and now he replaced that with a true story about one of his experiences when he was growing up and what it taught him about parenting. And to support that, Nicolo added more stories of parents he'd actually helped, thanking him in their words for the difference that he'd made to them. Okay, none of that involves facts, none of it involves opinions, it all involved story. So if you'd like to join Nicolo and many others like him who are working on their stories that sell, well, the details are on the link. I look forward to seeing you.